Ever wonder where the perfect restaurant idea comes from, Wes?
I do wonder, but I have no idea where.
Well, guess what? It comes from vent sessions, learning the hard way, and maybe just a little bit of bourbon.
All right. Sounds tasty.
All this leads to kick-ass sandwiches, soups, salads, and more in a laid-back atmosphere at Crust Kitchen and Bar.
Crust Kitchen and Bar. They've been crafting remarkable experiences, one bite and one sip at a time. Find them under the Rome Air Lofts at 86 Hanger Road, Rome, or online at crustkitchencny.com.
Pardsy, round 2.
Here we go.
He actually came back.
Mayor Lanigan back. First phone drop.
First phone drop. Telemark Morgan. That's how you make an intro.
All right, is this the February update or the March
yeah,
update?
This is February. We're gonna have to come back.
We're taking advantage of Leap Day. I mean, we're close.
Extra.
We cut it in just in time.
Just extra day there.
Yes.
But no, great viewership on the first one. I think we might have something here. So I don't know if it's your good looks or just what you're spitting out. But
I changed it up a little bit. I grew a beard out this time.
I like to play.
Yeah. I said, you know what? For this show, I'm going to do something different, as Wes did with the shirt.
I mean,
I just went beard, but Wes went.
Sorry for
Wow.
any
Wow,
visual.
I really
as long as it's not flashing at anybody.
depleted the bullpen the
Do I
last
put up a
2
warning?
episodes.
Do I put up a warning before people view this that
I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot of female viewership skyrocket suddenly.
it's because it's his beard, not yours.
We don't know where
it looks a little patchy, but at least you guys can grow one. Anyway, Mayor Lanigan February update. We mentioned before we came in here, we got some money coming into the city here. What do we got going on?
So one of the key things with this position is being able to have partnerships out there, whether it's private or it's other government entities. And I've had a great working relationship right from the get-go with Tony Pacenti and Joe Griffo and Mary Ann Buttonshawn. Everybody accepted me with open arms. Being a new guy into politics, you worry that maybe you won't. You've kind of upset the apple cart as somebody that's come in and went after a 2-time incumbent. So they have been incredible to kind of accepted me with warm, open arms. And working with Mary Ann, she just got back to me a couple weeks ago, and we had met together, and I talked about, obviously, kids and recreation is a huge thing with me, our parks, and having activities for our families. So I met with her. I expressed all those to her, and 2 days later, she was able to find $125,000 for the city to put into upgrades for our parks. So I think that's going to be incredible for us. We're going to be able to find some places where we're lacking a little bit and be able to invest that money and help to bring our community back to what we want to see.
Anything on the top of the list that's obvious?
One of the major things, and I don't want to spill the beans, but during my campaigning, I went to Liberty Gardens, and I actually played a basketball game against some kids. You guys probably saw it. I looked pretty stellar. I should have went the basketball route instead of hockey.
Got quite
okay.
Did you throw up a triple-double on the kids?
He was probably 10, and he took me, but but during the course of that, after I got done playing basketball with them, we talked about it, and they had said that their rims were very outdated. They were the double rims, which I wasn't a basketball kid, so I didn't know what the double rim meant, but apparently it's a thicker rim, and it makes it difficult. The ball goes in, it hits the rim, it bounces out. Their backboards are park hasn't been touched in a while. Plus, they wanted some seating. There's no seating for when they're playing basketball games. You want to sit down and take a rest. They got to sit on the ground. So that's kind of top on my priority list. I want to get over there. I want to upgrade those rims for them. I want to upgrade those backgrounds, or backboards. Maybe put some benches over there. It just is a top priority list.
And obviously being used, so good spot.
Yeah,
it's good. I think it'll be. And that's you go by there during the summer. There's constantly kids over there playing, so it's good.
Nice. We had Mike Limmy from Utica Mayor on recently, and he talked about meeting of the mayors you guys went to together. It went pretty well. You guys were actually talked about together as from the governor. Or
Absolutely.
Let's see if their stories cooperate here.
How was it? Well,
it was great. So actually, me and Mike went to NICOM. We went out to Albany to the New York Conference of Mayors back this month, and we were together during that, and during the course of that, we went to a dinner at the governor's mansion. So we both met the governor there, and just a brief conversation, introduce ourselves, and then obviously she had a whole room of people to court. So we, after that, she was coming to Herkimer the following week. So her staff had reached out to myself. I'm sure the same with Mike, and said, hey, the governor appreciated meeting you guys the other day. She would love to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with you guys, or I should say two-on-one conversation with you guys about Oneida County, about the Rome-Utica partnership. She loved to see that the two of us were together, that, both younger, newer into politics. She thinks it's a real good thing. So obviously we both jumped on the opportunity, and we went out to Herkimer, and we got pulled out of the room and brought to the back where we sat with the governor. And we were able to sit with her and, about 15 minutes and kind of our visions for the area, that we are really looking for this kind of a regional bond, not the Rome-Utica division that's been in the past where they don't really communicate, they don't work hand in hand together. And she loved it, and she took all of our ideas. We talked about some different things that she's bringing down the pipeline from the governor's side. So it was a great meeting. I look forward to hopefully many more and having those relationships where we can bring a lot more here. You hear about the Democrat-Republican separation, and you're never going to get anything. You guys are a Republican city or a Republican mayor. It doesn't have to be like that. It's more of what can we do together to make things better for this area. So that's really, it was a good meeting. What did Mike have to say about it?
No, that was good. Was it the rookie mayors and again talking about Utica Rome acting as one? I think that's
what did Mike have to say about it. Yeah, so there's more of a story here.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to watch this episode.
Yeah,
then.
I know. I got to tune in. I got to tune in. No, that's good. I'm glad.
No. So we talked about this earlier. My big question for you is, being a third ward guy myself.
Yes.
Are we going to have anyone on the council anytime soon?
Absolutely.
What's the plan?
It's coming down the pipeline.
Okay.
Obviously, it was a decision that we wanted to make that was going to be beneficial to the community, especially the third ward. So we have somebody that we're going to be announcing rather shortly.
Not going to break the news on another round podcast?
I'm not going to break it now.
Eventually he will start breaking news here.
I will. Eventually, I will get to the point.
We'll warm him up a little bit. I thought the shirt might do it for him today, but I guess not. I got to keep going back to the wardrobe.
His thought with that shirt.
But yes, absolutely. The great thing about, and I saw somebody send an editorial into your paper regarding that I hadn't filled the seat yet, and I am well aware that person is somebody who wants to run for that seat and has run for it in the past, and that's perfectly fine. But I guarantee that the third ward has never been better represented than me having Kim Rogers as my chief of staff. Mm-hmm. They have a direct line to the mayor, and we have solved so many issues for the third ward within my office just with having her there, because no matter who takes that seat, with Kim serving that role for 14 years, I guarantee most of the residents' first call is going to be to Kim Rogers. So that's how it's been in there. Anything that has come in, we have handled directly out of my office, and it's been a great representation for the third ward. So they haven't been lacking anything. If anything,
is there a timetable on this, or
I'm actually, I was going to make the announcement yesterday. I had a little bit of hiatus out of the office the last week and a half. So yesterday I was bombarded. I literally went from sunup to sundown yesterday, and then obviously I wanted to make it out to the hockey game. So I ran right up to the end. So I didn't get an opportunity to put my press release together yet for the announcement. But probably when I get back to the office today, we'll put that together. You might have something this afternoon.
Fair enough.
So
wow,
it's ready. It's ready to go.
Ooh.
So, but yeah. So it'll be a good thing for the ward. It'll be a good thing for the community, and I think this person's going to do a great job in that position. So
all right. Well, you mentioned the hockey game.
I mentioned the hockey game.
I threw it out there.
So
you were there.
You were there.
I was there.
Could you see with your eyes that goal, non-goal?
What happened?
I saw it. So obviously, I'm a big hockey fan. My son's a big hockey fan. My son is a huge RFA fan. He is Dante Sprace is his idol. My son is a goalie, as Wes knows. So we were there. We have to sit on the end where Dante is. That is how we roll.
So you have to keep switching?
Yeah, so we have to keep switching with a 6-year-old and nachos and chicken tenders.
Right.
And so I am that father walking.
Apparently he's all in a root beer now. Yeah, that's his new jam.
That is Dad's fault. They didn't have Sprite somewhere.
I also heard that. You got blamed for it.
I totally had to eat that one. They didn't have Sprite someplace we went. I ordered him a root beer. He fell in love with root beer, and now my wife blames me for his addiction to root beer. So yes, we had root beers, chicken tenders, not everything, and I have to shift from one end of the ice to the other, but that's fine. And you can imagine that's difficult as a mayor because you constantly run into people that want to shake your hand.
That's
and
a long walk.
Yeah,
It's,
Is that a play? Your hands are
that's
full.
true.
I'm struggling
that's
here.
correct. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll come back.
Yeah, once I finish these tendies.
Yes, once I get through the tendies, and somebody get me another honey mustard. So we were there. We were obviously at the opposite end because that was on the West Jenny side.
Right.
But at the same time, I had a perfect view of the goal. He comes around the side, puts the puck up over the goalie's shoulder. Now, me being a hockey guy, I know that when a puck comes out dead, it hits a net because if it ricochets hard, it hit a pipe, it hit the goalie, it hit a pad, it hit a stick. When the puck went in, which it ultimately did go in, when it went in, it came straight out and just deadened right there.
Yep.
That's a clear sign to me as a hockey guy that it hit a net. It didn't hit a pipe, it didn't hit a goalie, it didn't hit a stick. Also, the reaction of the RFA player at the time, he celebrates the goal. Also, the reaction of the West Jenny goalie, not immediately going to the puck, kind of puts that all together that it was, in fact, a goal. We celebrated. Obviously, there was a lot of, no whistle blown. It was a lot of turmoil. They go back and forth, and they ultimately come back and say no goal. And my question to that was, within 15 minutes of that, you had the clear video being passed throughout the whole stands. How does John Smith sitting at home at a computer screen get a clear view of this goal going in, the net coming up, the water bottle flipping? But we don't have that at a Section 3 championship title game.
What a great timing for the replay not to work, too.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Small,
it's just
small
convenient.
detail
And you know what? We come from Rome. We all played sports. We know the Syracuse way.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we sit back. And honestly, it really is. It makes you think we've always said it, but here we are.
We actually might have
and they literally, and I feel horrible. We've watched these kids play the entire season. I think me and my son maybe missed 2 home games. We went to a couple of away games, and these kids played their absolute heart out all season. They put everything out on that ice, and to literally have a Section 3 title stolen from them is awful. I feel terrible for them. Several people were yelling at me that what could I do? I tried. I
challenged
went down
their
there.
mayor to a duel or something?
I went down there. I said,
Right?
"Their honorable is in my title. You guys need to believe me." I said, "I'm a mayor." They asked me where I was the mayor of. I couldn't tell them that but I said,
You want to get out of there, out of the parking lot.
I just said, I go, "Listen, I'm telling you, it went in." But they wouldn't take my opinion as gospel, so I couldn't get it overturned. But
All right.
yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
So
One of those life lessons you just...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of flippant we're being with it. It's funny, but it is tough. The kids work their tail off. I mean, hockey, as we know,
Hate to
is
see it
a
end that
brutal
way.
sport. Those crazy hours in the rink, and
it is. And you watch those kids. I mean, both teams. I mean, it was an incredible game, both sides. But both of those teams. I mean, you watch towards the end of that game, and they were exhausted because they put everything on the line, and to have it come down to that ultimately it was Rome's title, and it was taken from them. It's sad. It's a tough thing that. It's a life lesson for them. It really is.
Jackie wouldn't allow this to happen under her watch.
Definitely not. Well, the good thing she wouldn't have been there. So, but anyways.
Brad, save us here. Brad, come on. Pull it together for us. Come on.
Lanny, got anything else going on that you like?
It's the best thing I could say is this is like drinking out of a fire hose. I'm in there every day. We're extinguishing fires and trying to bring in new ideas. The morale within City Hall is explosive. Things are great. The police department, we've had several promotions within the police department. We have a new police chief. I don't know if we touched on that last show. We have a new police chief. We've now promoted a new captain of patrol. That just happened this past week. So we'll bring some new ideas to that. The fire department, we have a new fire chief with Chief Akavisi retiring. We've promoted a new deputy chief. We just did captain and lieutenant promotions yesterday for the fire department. So we're really bringing some new energy, getting some new people in these key roles that are really going to help bring us to the next level here in the city and kind of take out that old school mentality and start to bring in some of the things that we think are going to be beneficial. So So it's been good.
That's great. How about budget-wise? We had Mayor Galimi in here, and he's, I guess, struggling with and trying to get the books in order for Utica. And I don't want you to comment on that because, of course, that's not really your jurisdiction. But just tell us about the fiscal health of Rome. How are you feeling? What you inherited, and going forward, do you see anything, big picture stuff coming up?
So kind of, me and Mike were in two different situations. Mike was coming in, if elected, he was coming into somebody that wasn't up for re-election. They knew they weren't going to be
the lame duck.
So,
right?
Yes. So they kind of wanted to be out there and building their legacy and spending money and saying, look what I did, look at my accomplishments. And that can lead to a lot of troubles. When you talk about term limits,
that's an issue too.
That's an issue. That's one of the cons to term limits.
Right.
Is you get somebody that does that and they don't set it up the right way for the next administration. Me, on the other hand, I had somebody that in their wildest dreams probably didn't believe they weren't going to be in this seat. So they set everything up that it's going to be beneficial for them for the next 4 years. So me walking in financially, and we're good. Things were done right. Our treasurer was incredible before that. My new treasurer, Brian Adams, is doing a fantastic job. The only issues that we foresee is some big contracts were awarded last year, and they were needed. We needed to bring up the pay scales. The problem is it should have been done more at a slower pace. Being an election year, say what you want, whether it was done that way for a reason or not.
A lot of them vote, and their families vote.
Exactly.
Right?
So
you want to keep them happy. So this is police and fire.
This is police, fire, CSEA.
That can't hit the game,
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. But my concern is I've always been, not that I'm fiscally responsible. My wife says I spend way too much money all the time on but I am somebody that plans ahead. I am somebody that I want to make sure that we're going to be fiscally set going forward, whether in my personal life or now on the government side. So we are already coming together and saying, let's plan ahead, because I don't want to be the one sitting at a table or sitting on this show talking about I have to do a 16% tax increase.
Yeah, small adjustments than a correction.
Exactly. And I would rather be planning ahead and know that we have this coming down the pipeline. So as far as right now goes, we are great financially. Down the road, we are starting to plan ahead right now to make sure that it doesn't happen. The difference between us and Utica, they go off the fiscal calendar. We go off just the calendar year. So we're January to December.
So you're rocking Izzo's budget for this year. So you start to get your budget.
I'll start. My budget's due in October.
Right.
So we're starting to plan ahead now
January.
to put out for the 2025 in October.
So with all the 10,000 little things, and not little things, but you have that kind of thinking about the whole time. Is the budget going into next year?
Yes.
Some time to figure out where you want to allot money and what to propose to the council.
Yes. Yeah. And we have some ARPA funding that we're going to be getting.
I was going to ask you, like, what's left in the kitty there?
So we have a good amount. We're breaking it all down right now. I'm a big paper and pen guy, so we got a giant whiteboard. We got a whole bunch of dry erase markers, and we're starting to throw some stuff up on the board, try to figure out exactly what the dollar amount is. And we're going to get together with the council. We want to get together with the public, see what people want to use that funding for. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I don't want to just blow it and put it all out there. I want some community input. Obviously, I have to work hand-in-hand with the council. So we want to do the most we can that's going to benefit the community as a whole. So we're going to have that coming up real shortly, and I'm real excited about that. We're going to have some funding that we're going to be able to do some really good things with. So,
is there any chance that if it goes too far down the road, that there's any chance that the state or any of that money might be pulled, or is there? So
it has to be allocated by the end of this year,
and
it has to be spent by the end of 2025, I believe.
Okay,
are the exact dates of that.
Gotcha.
I know there was rumors, and there was, everybody talked about during the election year that the government was going to come in and take back all the money if it wasn't allocated, if it wasn't spent, if it wasn't. We never saw anything. I mean, I remember getting the legislation that they were talking about, and I'm sitting at home, and I'm a legal guy. Is coming from law enforcement, you read a lot of legal, especially as a detective. So I'm pretty good at reading that stuff, and I remember sitting there, and I didn't find anything that remotely read about that. So, and we've been told nothing about it, and so,
all right,
those are the only kind of dates that we know of.
One more. Wes and I, we've been talking with a lot of people about the identity of Rome. You know, what is downtown? What does it need next? You know, those kind of questions, big questions. No one's going to have a perfect answer for. For one, any updates on the timing of the art district, some of the apartments there, and the progress of the parking lot, and I guess a follow up to that is, what do you see being the main attraction? And maybe it is twofold, but is it coming over the bridge going into Fort Stanwix? Is there things on the business park? Is it that we form two downtowns? And just curious if there's any thought to that.
I can't wait to hear this because this is a tough one.
Yeah,
no,
it is.
It is.
I'm not expecting you to have.
It seems like every mayor's had a different component, right, or a different block they've worked on.
So
It
And,
just feels
honestly,
like,
that's
what is our? we
that's
have
my
too many
biggest
fronts.
thing. Yes, and that's
Like a World
my
War II
biggest
lesson.
thing. It was when I came into this, it was kind of like every mayor gets into this seat and they don't want to work off of the previous mayor's what their project was, because that's not mine, that's theirs. I want to make my own. I'm not like that. So like you look at James Street, the 400 or 400 block, 500 block, that was Jim Brown's thing. You know, we went in there, we dug up concrete, we planted trees, we put in all this stuff, and we did some facade grants and try to get, and then that goes away. And then Joe Fusco comes in and he's East Dominic Street and bring back, you know, Little Italy and things
signs,
like that.
right.
And so they worked on that and they did the parking and stuff like that. And then Jackie comes in and then it's the East Dominic or the West Dominic Street, the Arts District and the DRI and all that. And now it does seem like we've had three different areas of Rome that have been attacked. And to me, I really want to bring those all together and let's work on all three of them, whether it's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and put the funding into all three of them. And what do you guys need here? And try to bring them together. My biggest thing that I would like to see is bringing our waterfront to our downtown. Access for these, you go down and you see all these boats in these little areas along the Erie Canal where they pull up these gigantic yachts that are coming from all over the world and going down the Erie Canal. And there's nothing for them to, they can dock here, get power, hang out, but it's very difficult for them to get to anywhere in our city. So I really want to be able to connect that is kind of my vision on economic development side of it. So I would love to see that. There's a giant building down there that I want to see come down so bad that they've been fighting for 20 years. And I really want to see that building come down, and we're in the process of working on that and seeing what we can do for it. So that's a big eyesore down there, and if we can make that happen, I would love to see that happen. And but that's kind of my thing. And it's funny, if you come down East Dominic Street right now, and you're coming to the light where Erie meets Black River Boulevard, and the fort's right there, you literally can look down East Dominic Street, and now with the artist lofts and City Hall and the Bank of America building and stuff, you can literally see where that used to all be connected. And right in the middle of it is the fort.
Well,
and it's
brings
crazy.
us to what Tony Pacini was just on our show,
exactly,
and
right. Me
he
and
throws
him
out
talked about
he
that,
throws
that-
out the idea. Well, let me debut it here and see what we get for feedback. Is connecting Dominic Street once more?
Yeah, again, right.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Sir Mayor?
I think it would be a great idea. Do I think it's feasible? Probably not. I mean, it's literally if they hadn't built the museum there on the corner,
That complicates things.
that complicates a lot. Because maybe we couldn't have run straight through like it was, but maybe we could have bent around it and came through that area. But now, I mean, it would be so difficult, I think, without.
Yeah. And I guess what, at least for me on that, is, and we didn't really ask Tony what his thoughts were beyond that, but there's got to be more to it than just connecting the streets. What's our main goal? Is there going to be a big anchor there? Is there something that is going to go in addition to? I mean, to connect the streets.
No, we
Is that
definitely
worth
need
the expense? Like, what are we getting out of it?
You would definitely.
I know
have
he
to
wants
throw
to spend some
things.
money in Rome, right? Because there's kind of a
Listen, I'm
big
all for
sucking
it.
sound to Utica lately with all the money, which is fine. Like, it's going great, but you know, he knows that he's got to spread the money around the county,
gotta-
and not
he's
just
gotta-
Rome, other places. But so
Absolutely.
he's looking for some ideas.
I'm not opposed to the Tony Pacenti Bridge that goes up over the fort, connects the two. You know, if he wants to come to the table with that, more than happy to do a ribbon cutting on that. No, you definitely have to. It can't just be a road. Like you have to come up with some. What are we going to put here? What are we going to put that's going to draw people to come to Rome, to our downtown? And you know, a lot of it is downtown to get people there to spend the money at our businesses and stuff. But the other thing is we want people to live here. We're bringing the jobs here. The park is booming with jobs and big money jobs. But now we want to bring people into our city to live. We want them to move here. We want them to sink roots into here. So that's the other thing you got to look into it is what are we putting out there, not just in businesses and things for people to go to and spend their money, but that they want to be here and it's there for them to utilize as a community member, not just as somebody that's coming here to spend money. So it's a lot. It really is. I mean, you try to put all of it into a pool and pick out what the key priorities are, but at the same time, that's why you bring more people to the table. I mean, I've talked with both of you on projects and things, and I am 100% on board with working with anybody, whether it's private, whether it's government, to make things happen, because I think that's the way you make things excel, and that's how Utica boomed. It wasn't because Tony Pacenti did one thing. It was because Tony Pacenti partnered with so-and-so and partnered with this group, and they were able to make it happen, and now things are great. So.
And they have such an advantage with the geography of there. We've talked about, you got Genesee Street, and then you have the throughway. Just everything merges into that common area where MVHS, the Odd, all that's just a natural low center. And maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but I am curious of, what's the traffic going over, what's the bridge name? Coming into Rome, into Erie.
Arterial?
The arterial.
In Rome?
King Bridge.
Yeah,
Dr. King.
Dr.
That's Dr. King, yeah.
Versus, coming in off 825. And what is the actual, what is the traffic? Because you have a ton of transient coming in and out of.
Well, I think a lot of your traffic coming in on 825 is transient. I think a lot of it is coming in. Yeah. They go to their job for the day, and then they're jumping right back out. I think a lot of your arterial traffic is residents, is people that are coming to and from work, or they're I do think if I had to take a guess, I would say that.
But either way, traffic is good for business, whether it's transient or local. So I think it would be curious. I'm just something to look into after. I think if we can get the numbers of 825.
What's the main entryway?
Yeah,
that's the actual gateway to Rome.
And by how much, and I think that some of those stats might help at least a little bit, because you do have a lot of money on the business park, but they aren't staying here, and but. You kind of have a downtown already formed on West Dominic there with the Capitol and the, all the new the art districts, I guess, which has been great. It's nice to see that kind of come back alive over the years. But so it's always this game of, if you were to bring in somebody, what's more attractive? Is it building down there, or is it building on the park where it has this uncertain future, but could be also a hub? And not saying we need only one. There's different areas through cities that, if you want arts, you go here. If you want tech and whatever, you go here.
They're usually not our size of the city.
Yeah, they're just not usually our size.
Usually 4 million people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sure that will continue. Anything else?
I think we kind of touched on everything.
Save something for March?
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for pushing me off to the end of the month. I appreciate it. I know we wanted to make these a little bit closer together.
Hey, we hit the month.
Exactly. We got the month.
We don't have high goals here. We're just looking for the 30-day window.
It's the first goal we've actually attained in a long time, so we're pretty proud of ourselves.
Good, I'm glad.
I got one last question for you.
Yes.
You can't give me a bullshit answer.
I won't.
Are you enjoying it? No, seriously. Don't give me the I'm enjoying it.
Listen,
tell us the truth. Does it suck?
You guys,
do you love it? Is it somewhere in between?
You guys both know me. I'm not a bullshit.
You're very pleasant, so I can never tell. I think.
I know you don't bullshit, but I know there's a difference between a reporter answer and a bar talk answer. So we'll still take the bar talk answer.
I know you will. I can tell you this: I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
There is a lot more that I wasn't aware of as far as the amount of fires that go on throughout the day. You kind of, I'm a very set guy. Like, I like to come in, I like to have my meetings, I like to have my time where I have an hour to catch up on emails. I like that. That's just me as a person. So the part that I don't like is you can't have that structure. That is out the window. As you can see, I was late for you guys today. I was in a meeting and it ran over.
I thought that was a play.
It was not a play.
It was big time.
Actually, I did it to you last time too. I had to cancel it, or I had to move it. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm a structured guy. I love schedules. I love being able to know what I have coming up in the day. And that part of it is I'm adjusting to it. I'm getting used to it, but it is something that I don't enjoy as far as the but other than that, I love the opportunity to meet with people. I love the opportunity to see what we can do for our city. And I love to try to maximize that to the best of my ability. And I love challenges. I'm always that. I've always been that guy. I've always been that. I wanted the ball at the end of the game. I've always been that person. So to me, I love that part of it. So it's good. It is. Right. And I have a great team. I couldn't do all of this without them. They've been incredible. The last week that I was gone, they didn't skip a beat. They did everything. And I wasn't worried one bit. I wasn't sitting going, oh my gosh, I wonder if the city's burning down. They do it all, and they do an incredible job at it. So,
all right.
Does that answer? Is that?
We'll allow it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I was hoping this is terrible. what was I thinking? My wife was right.
Yeah, there's nights like that. I ain't gonna lie. Sure. You sit there and go, oh, what did I get into? Things were a lot easier before, but at the same time, I do enjoy it. So
fair enough.
Well, until March.
All right, till March.
Thanks, Pardsy.
Appreciate
Absolutely. Of course.